Morning, everybody. Good morning. I am here in my new Zoom live event studio, playing and messing with a couple of things because I've got a new event coming up. And I've actually been awake most of the night, really thinking through something that I think is a very, very powerful message. And I thought if you have a couple of minutes today, just hear me out on this, because it's really all about big ideas, okay? And this was really the catalyst in all of this was my event partner, Robbie Crabtree, had a very, very good way of putting it the other day, where basically, and I'm now ad-libbing on this, that big ideas by themselves don't change the world, right? And obviously, great and compelling stories do change the world, but here's the catch: not by themselves, okay? So think about the awful loss and waste of time and money and energy because 99% of big ideas just do not translate out to the rest of the world, right? Most big ideas need loads of money to execute and bring to the market, or they need lots of time, decades of growth to turn them into great businesses that do change the world. And this is where it gets kind of interesting, because there are a lot of really good ideas in the world, but very few entrepreneurs who know how to articulate them well, right? So even if you think of like Steve, Bill, Larry, Elon, how did they get there? It's not like they're known for their beautiful, polished prose and their magnetic, extroverted personalities, right? I mean, now that they are so successful, everybody literally listens to every word they say, but not then, right? So I really do want to give credit for this thought process to Robbie Crabtree. He's one of the best storytelling coaches I've ever had the privilege of meeting. And he kind of illustrated it very well, that a message needs to be both clear and clever. If it's just clear and not clever, it doesn't reach. If it's just clever and not clear, it doesn't reach. I mean, just think of the amount of time that you've spent listening to executives going on and on, 5, 10, 30 minutes, just rambling on, and you still have no idea what the big plan is. And in my world, the asset management world that I've spent 35 plus years on, the people who really make the best money managers are just the worst storytellers. It's very rare that you find them both together, right? And you can't wait for luck, right? You can't just, I mean, sure, some people get very lucky, but I have always noticed, hey, man, the more I prepare, the luckier I get, right? So follow me through this thought process, right? So if you have the right message, even the right audience, but the wrong timing, the whole thing will fail. You have the right message, you have the right audience, you have the wrong sequence of that message, it's just delivered in the wrong format, it will probably fail. Even the right message, the right audience, the right timing, but badly delivered is going to leave literally 90% of the opportunity at the table. So you cannot just wait for somebody to stumble over your LinkedIn profile and go, hey, can you help me? Come and please come. I'm dying to jump on a 15-minute Zoom call with you. I mean, that's absolute nonsense, right? Because a lot of people, they buy things because they want to, right? So think of, find a prop. This is one of my favorite stupid investments. Not an investment. $1,200 Hermes notebook. Emotional purchase. I absolutely wanted it and I bought it. I don't even want to tell you how much this pen cost. Stupid, right? But I love it and I wanted it. It's not something I need. This thing, however, that I needed absolutely urgently, I paid $1,400 for because I needed it yesterday and I needed it literally delivered the same day. And there was only one person that could deliver that to me. And it was absolutely critical. And it was a minute cost in the bigger picture of what I needed it for, right? So that really brings me to the point of this video. And that is why you need a system, okay? You need a system to attract the right fit client and repel the wrong fit, the oxygen thieves and the time wasters that suck the life out of you and poison the water hole. Think, because your vibe attracts your tribe, and your tribe will see themselves in who you're hanging out with, right? And nobody wants to go play in a sandpit, right, with a screaming tantrum child, or an insufferable bully in there, or an insufferable know-it-all. I compare that to, like, there being a dog turd in the sandpit. Nobody wants to go play in that, right? But the problem is, you have a full-time job, right? You can't be doing this one-on-one. And by the way, take it from me, I have spent 20 years like really struggling with this. It's only in the last 10 years of my career where I really started really nailing it, and realized that, hey, it's a lot easier to raise 100 million than to raise 1 million. And it's a lot easier to raise 1 million than it is to raise 100,000 from your friends and family. Okay. And if you have a system with a good story, then you can deliver it in the right way. And it really, really helps. So bear with me a little bit. I mean, as you know, my videos are, unstructured, unfiltered, unedited, unscripted, and they sometimes roll a little long, but bear with me on this one. I'll kind of try and explain it a little bit. So let me draw it out. That's probably the easiest way. But before I do that, and I switch screens from this one, let me show you the cool thing that I've been working on. So for my events, we now have like a full interactivity with the background. So the audience can essentially, just by hitting the emojis on the dashboard, can send messages and say, hey, listen, dude, you've been going on too long. We need a coffee break. Or, hey, that was a really great idea. Hit the money bags. Let's go deeper into that. Or, seriously, dude, you lost me. Hit the questions. And then if I see lots of questions coming up in the background behind me, then I can slow down and answer those questions. So that's basically the whole thing. So that's just straight off the dashboard where you can get it. But I want to quickly switch to here we go. That's what you press. Basically, those are the icons that you press. But I want to switch quickly to my whiteboard, because you've got to have a think of it like this. If you know who your right fit client is, okay, so let's say your right fit client guys are the red hat people. This is not a political statement, by the way. And your wrong fit clients are the blue-hatted guys. You can immediately build the right kind of funnel attraction system that attracts them, because the story that you create for the wrong fit client will not land. Okay. So it's absolutely clear to have some strategy on it. So this is what I do on day one in our live events. This is the most important work that you'll ever do. And by yourself, it is damn near impossible to figure it out, because a jar cannot read its own label. And I mean, if you look at this is my favorite coffee cup that comes into the hot tub with me every morning. It cannot read its label. So shout out to Yeti, by the way. Their coffee stays really, really hot. So coming back to systems, right? If you don't have a system where you have created a systematic, automated, scalable approach, right? I'm just drawing a 4-step funnel right now that literally automates your right fit client and provides an easy entry for them in several steps to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the relationship with you. Yeah, I mean, you literally are just barking up 1,000 trees to find one right tree. It is insanely expensive. It is soul destroying, and it will take your eyes off your business and literally, leave 99% of the money on the table, right? And building a system like that. Sorry, my wife is texting me incessantly here. I gotta remember to mute my phones before I hit record. You really do need a system. And if you think about it like this, okay, let's see if I can draw this in situ. You want to get on a rough terrain from A to B in a hurry. Problem is, it's rough terrain. So you need a car. All right, I'm going to test my drawing skills here now. You need a car to get you there, but not just any car. You need the right car. I mean, I once had one of those ridiculous Maseratis of a beautiful car, and I had to go to a board meeting in Utah, and I just ruined the car. Okay, my wife has still not let me forget it. So you got to think of the car is really the system. It's the right one for the job. But then the story is the engine in the car. And again, you need the right engine for the right car for the right job. Okay, you would literally not put a Ford F350 engine into a Mini. That will fail. So then the next thing that you really need to do is, okay, now we need directions. We need a compass. We need some form of calibration because we don't know the route. Okay, we don't know the journey. It is an unknown journey. And yeah, you can stumble around and you can go and try and do this by yourself and figure it out. And a lot of people will eventually figure it out, right? But this is really where you need the most help, is on the strategy component, right? So that is the strategy component. And the strategy is super important because you want it to speak the right language. There is no one strategy that works for absolutely everybody. And you want, preferably, I mean, have it speaking English to you. Because imagine having a GPS system that literally goes, nein, halt, sofort, drehen Sie wir wollen nach links, wir wollen nach links, bis sind Sie blöde. You know, I mean, German is my mother tongue. I only go to it in anger and humor. But you really do need the right strategy. But now there is this thing. What fuel do you put into that car? Okay. And that is the super important part, because the fuel that runs the engine, that runs the car, that gets you there, is this global super currency called trust. Okay. And if you'll allow me just to quickly switch screens on you real quickly, you've got to think about trust as a two-sided thing. The best way to explain it is probably with this tree. Okay. A tree without a solid root system cannot stand up in any kind of storm. And trust me, we are in storms these days, right? So your character, your authentic character, including the mistakes, including the scar tissue that I will teach you how to weaponize that scar tissue and thread it into your story, becomes the character anything below ground. The competence, the things that are much easier to explain, go above ground, and that is the tree, right? So trust is the global super currency that fuels all business, fuels all relationships. If you put the wrong fuel into that car, if you put diesel into your Lamborghini, it will absolutely fail and make a mess, okay? And that is why it's so important to really get coaching on this. So in a nutshell, this is really how we have designed the Raising Capital event, because it's very much around this trifecta, okay, of strategy. This iPad vibrates a little bit, hence the bad writing. Story and systems. Those are supposed to be all overlapping, by the way. I didn't draw that very well. They're supposed to all be overlapping here in the middle. So let's just pretend. But you see, the super currency that unites them all is trust. And that is the currency. Now, trust is not this thing that takes 20 years or 50 years to create. I can teach it in 2 hours. And some of my clients are literally getting results on this within 2 weeks. I mean, and after 2 months, it's completely changed their lives. This you can learn, you can teach this, and you can implement this, right? It just needs a little strategy, but you need this thing called time, okay? I'll just write it up here, because nobody else is coming to save you. Nobody is going to go and do it for you better than you can do it yourself. Even if you are building scalable systems that can be outsourced, even if this is going to be Robbie's component, even if he teaches you your origin story, then your vision story, then your validation story, okay? Bad writing. And then using the systems, I will show you how to turn that into a conversion story that everybody wants to be a part of, okay? And we advise you on the strategy, and we teach you how to find your right fit client and really drill down and build a really good escalator pitch, not an elevator pitch. Don't pitch things to people in elevators. It's weird. You get arrested for that. So you still have to do the work. And even if you then here go out and you build scalable, automatable systems, right, which will teach you, it's still your story. Because you've got to think about it like this, and really, really remember this statement when you're struggling with it. Because the opposite of confidence is not cowardice. The opposite of courage and confidence is conformity. People will be attracted to you because of your unique story, your unique blueprint, the way you show up relentlessly and authentically with your client's best interests at heart. That is what raises the money. That is what attracts your right fit client. But you can't do this full time. You can't be out there one-on-one meetings. I mean, seriously, I used to do that. And this is probably the single biggest reason why I literally do this today. Let me quickly get rid of that distracting background. There we go. Nice little brick wall. Because I literally spent 20 years barking up the wrong tree, thousands and thousands of meetings, events, hedge fund conferences. I mean, sometimes 300 plus flights a year. I mean, I missed half of my kids' like youth. I didn't go to ball games. I missed all of that. I mean, just endless meetings and proposals with people, quite frankly, I don't remember. And if I remembered them, I probably despise them today because they were just not the right fit client. It was only really in the last 10 years of my career that I really figured out the magic sauce. And the magic sauce was actually me, it was unique to me, but I needed to create systems that could be scaled so that you could do it. And, you know, towards the end, literally, I got to the point where I could raise $100 million from one meeting because I got the story, I got the strategy, and I got the systems right. So then I could literally just turn up to grab the check and shake hands, right? And that is the single biggest motivation I can find to invite you to come and join us at raisingcapital.live. There it is, raisingcapital.live on June 12th. Because that is a 3-day, fully immersive live event. It's like a in-person boot camp, except you can do it from your computer. I'm going to be here in the studio. I'll show you what it looks like in a real quick second. Basically, that is what I am looking at, okay? So I can see absolutely every single one of you down there. That's the only, oh no, that side. It's the only picture you can't see. That is a dedicated Zoom room for a company that's bringing all of its salespeople, but you won't see them. They're in their own Zoom room chatting to each other. I have got on that side. Oh, the mirror thing is mirrored. I've got the chat here. I can interact with absolutely every single one of you guys. We're going to basically be on the evening of day one, we're going to be in the bar having drinks. Everybody will get a chance to meet everybody else. We want you guys to network and connect with each other. I tell you, if you look at some of my friends, you know, on LinkedIn, they have now built massive businesses from somebody that they met in a cafe with me, right? So that is my open invitation to you guys. I'd love for you guys to come. Come and join us at raisingcapital.live. Let me get out of the way so you can see the URL. And I'm going to go back to working and preparing, but you have been invited formally. Come and join us. We will work on your strategy, your story, and your systems. And I think it is the best time that you can spend. I mean, if Robbie and I charged individually for the consulting hours that we normally charge for this thing, this event would set you back more than $100,000. Okay. So seriously, open invitation. I can't make it any easier. I can't make it any cheaper. That's it from me. Arrivederci, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, a biento. Also helps if you unmute the microphone. And these LinkedIn Lives are a little frustrating sometimes because you've got to deploy so many little pieces of tech to connect LinkedIn to LinkedIn Live, then to the Restream, then it goes into my ATEM switcher here. And I'm doing all of this, by the way, inside a Zoom room. So it's like, sometimes I feel like I'm in a space station here. You got to just like be pressing all these different buttons. I mean, it's nuts. So the big things that I'm working on at the moment, and it's really cool. So for our event, I have built a really cool little interface. Let me show you quickly what that looks like. 1 second, just trying to get the. This is always like the biggest challenge when you got. I'm running 6 different machines here, so I've got to share one keyboard, and it is a little slow. I got to admit that, because the keyboard has to basically go through all of this tech here in order to show up. So give me a quick second. So here we go. I'm going to switch screens on this one real quick. We're going to go to screen number 3, and I'll stay down here if you like. There we go, and I'll stay down here on the bottom. So the one thing that I showed you that we have now got absolutely up and running and working are these little emoji buttons down here, right? Let me see if I can point to them. They're right here behind me. Okay, so when you press them, all right. Now I got to illustrate how that looks in the studio. It works basically like this. So I'm then in the studio, and then if somebody literally presses the emojis, they will show up behind me. So when we're doing, for example, basically a quick survey, or we're having people introduce each other, or we are in the live Pitch Palooza event, that is basically I'll show you what that looks like. That's super cool. That looks like that. Let me get out the way. So it's basically like a shark tank, where everybody gets a little bit of coaching, then you sit on the stage and you deliver your pitch, and then the audience will literally vote in the background based on how they found the pitch. But then immediately Robbie and I and the panel will give you direct feedback, like stop, start, continue, stop doing that, start doing that, and continue doing that, because you do that well. So it's really, really great feedback. So then let me show you what else I'm working on. This is really, really fun. I just got to come here and press the right buttons. And how about I go in this corner today? Okay, so then there's a new feature that is literally brand new and off the press. So anybody who attends our events can literally get a certificate of attendance immediately. So you click on that, and it will automatically generate a certificate for you. Now, I am logged in through my Backstage computer, so you'll see the name there that is lit up as like Backstage. So when I then go and pick up the certificate, okay, it opens up as a PDF, and voila, here it is. Here's the Backstage VIP. That's right, there we go, right there. So that's where the attendee's name goes in, and he literally gets a certificate of attendance. And that really comes from one of our other programs, where we do 4 levels of qualifications, and based on how much time you've attended, it will either give you a certificate or not. So that is a cool feature that we've been working on. And then the other feature, which is really cool, throughout the event, I noticed, I do a lot of these kind of events, so I will sometimes miss out on a question. So people can literally come right in here and make sure I'm pressing the right button and ask a question, okay? So let me open up the other screen quickly and moderate the question. So this is going to take a little bit of a challenge, a switch to show this live, but let me go find it. And on the other computer, and this is not so easy to switch between all these screens, especially when you don't have a predetermined plan on it. Okay, so let us go in here now and type this question. Okay. Have I got the right keyboard? Okay. Testing. Question 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. I think you get the idea. I'm going to just go fix that quickly. And then when I switch across, I see all of the questions up on my screen up above it, but the question has actually appeared on screen here. Now, the reason why we install that into our events, because very often, I mean, there are different Zoom rooms. Like sometimes we'll have a whole company that will bring 100 employees and they'll all be in their own Zoom room. So the other Zoom rooms can't see that Zoom room's questions because that's private and they're in a chat and engaging between themselves. Or sometimes, you know, we will put everybody who doesn't have a camera into a different Zoom room so that I can engage with the people who have a camera right up front here with me, right? So then when I ask a question, it might be a very simple question with a 12-minute answer and a detailed explained answer. And if you miss the question, you kind of miss the whole thread. So I really like this where you can literally put the question up, you see it visually, and then I can answer it. And then as I, you know, swing back and forwards, I can go down into my iPad and literally draw the funnel for that person and say, okay, so you need a completely different funnel that looks like this, that, you know, looks like that is a 3-step funnel, blah, 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 and so on. And then people get the you know, question live right in front of them. One of the biggest challenges that I have, right, is pressing all the right buttons, making sure the audio is working. I mean, it's really quite a challenge because you've got to see what my main screen looks like. Let me just minimize that. And this is a screenshot that I just took of a different event, right? And you will see that there is just a lot of action. Those are all different Zoom rooms, right? That literally are just going to fly away in here. And sometimes I just lose the thread of the whole thing and you're trying to explain something, but I'm supposed to be, you know, picking and unmuting somebody. So that's really how I built this studio. And it's really turned out quite an amazing thing. So let me show you what that looks like real quick. So you'll see right up above my head here is a vertical screen. I'm always mirrored on this because the mirror is view. So that is a vertical screen right above here with the chat. And that is the main Zoom room chat. If I want to see the other Zoom rooms, I've got to switch panels. On this side over here, let's go over there. So on this side right here, that is all the attendees. So I can literally see all the attendees in alphabetical order. And if I quickly want to go, you know, and somebody's raised their hand and I want to literally answer that question, I can quickly unmute them and go in there. My iPad over here in the middle, I use all the time because from there I can control the screens. I use that as a whiteboard. I used to have a whiteboard behind me, but then literally people were staring at the back of my head the whole time. Then those are the main 4 Zoom screens that you can see up there, which are really all the different Zoom rooms, so I can see everybody live. So this studio at home can handle 500 people at a time, which is kind of handy because if you look at this one, you'll see that there was 497 attendees on that one. So that really was literally like just made it. The screen all the way on top there next to the light, that is basically the switcher because I have 4 inputs and I can switch backwards and forwards between those inputs. And then the screen on the top, all the way on the top, I don't know if that's your right or your left, is literally my notes. That's where the Q&A turns up and so on. Then I've actually added some more screens since this picture was taken to get me some more control. And then I have a backup computer here on the side completely. And let me see if I can switch modes to that. I'll show you that in a second. Let me see if the technology is allowing me to do that right now quickly. Now I've got to find my mouse. It's on one of these screens. All right, so let me switch cameras, and I'm going to switch to my iPhone camera. Okay, there we go. Let's see if that works. Okay, there we go. It's going to zoom in. So then over here, excuse the mess, I've been working on this. That is a backup computer, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 machines right over there. There's 2 more behind there, but that is a backup computer that has a backup camera. So if this whole system fails in the middle of the event, I have a microphone plugged into a backup computer, which is actually in the Zoom meeting as a co-host, so then I can just switch to that. That's about it. All of it is plugged into an uninterruptible power supply to make sure that the voltage doesn't spike and so on. Hard copy notes, post-it notes, still the best thing, because I literally have to put a post-it note up there before I start an event that says unmute everybody. Alrighty, so that is it on the show and tell. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and let's go back to my switcher, and we'll go in full screen. Super nice. Thank you for attending. Really appreciate it. Love the feedback. And as I said, you know, open invitation. Come and join us at raisingcapital.live. It's literally the best thing that I can do. So on June 12th, 11 o'clock, I will open up here. Hopefully I will wear a shirt that's more suitable for it. But love you guys, and really appreciate you guys stopping in here today. And that's it. Over and out from me. Bye, guys. Ciao, ciao.